Bird Arena in Normal, Illinois, home of the two-time defending Missouri Valley Conference champion Illinois State Redbirds. Today, they're set to host Creighton. Rebuilding has been Kevin Stallings' mantra for Illinois State, but the emergence of sophomore Tyrese Bryson has given the future a bright outlook. Defense, as always, is the emphasis for the Redbirds, who need a strong finish for a fifth straight postseason berth. But first, Missouri Valley foe Creighton and the dangerous Rodney Buford come a-calling. We venture over the hills into the valley, where today we have a bird fight of sorts. It's the Creighton Blue Jays and the Illinois State Redbirds. Hello, everybody. Darren Horton along with Tim McCormick. Illinois State was the team that won the Missouri Valley last year. Creighton, the team that was supposed to win it this year. And when you see Rodney Buford play today, you will understand why.
You're right, Darren. Buford, one of the premier scorers in all of America. The numbers show it. 2,000 career points. That's awesome scoring. He's potent. Nice range on the perimeter game. The ball skills as strong as his jumper. And he's the featured offensive player for Creighton. Illinois State has a guy that puts up big numbers as well. Tyrese Bryson. His numbers are phenomenal considering the fact that he's played this year with a stress fracture in his left leg. He needs to put up big numbers today if they're going to be able to stay with a very potent offense on the other bench.
So it's Illinois State and Creighton. Here at Redbird Arena, they call it Red Rage. It's their version of the Cameron Crazies. We'll be back with the tip-off next.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by the Pontiac Sunfire. Hot set of wheels, money left to burn. And by Domino's, delivering 1 million smiles a day.
And welcome back to Redbird Arena. There you look at the Red Rage. We talk about Kevin Stallings. He's doing this year what he hasn't had to do a lot of in recent years, and that struggle. He says all the injuries have created a lack of depth.
Atypical for us. We need to try to keep the pace a little bit slower because of the lack of bodies that we have right now. We can't afford to have a game in the 80s with them because that creates too many possessions and gives some of our key people too many opportunities to get in foul trouble. So it's not the way we like to play, but under the circumstances, it's the way we're forced to play.
Kevin Stallings, one of the most sought-after coaches in America. He's turned down the likes of Tennessee in the past. As we take a look at the starting lineup, it is Sean Riley, Leroy Watkins, Tyrese Bryson, Ryan Crowley, and Victor Williams. Watkins, 24 points shy of joining the 1,000-point club here at Illinois State. As for Creighton, it's Ben Walker, Ryan Sears, Rodney Buford, Donnie Johnson, and Doug Swinson. Swinson had 21 points in the first meeting. The head coach for the Blue Jays, Dana Altman, the only coach to lead the Blue Jays to an improved record in 4 consecutive years.
What I'm looking for here early, the first meeting between these two teams, Creighton ran up and down the court. They scored 95 points and won the shootout. The defense, as both coaches will admit, was non-existent. It was almost as if these players said to themselves, defense is the 20 seconds that I've got to spend on one end of the court while I'm waiting to get down so I can shoot at the other.
And you see the series notes. Redbirds won 10 of the last 11, but the Blue Jays took care of business in January in Omaha, despite Tyrese Bryson's 24 points. Take a look at Bryson. What a spectacular talent he is. The Redbirds win the tip, and Victor Williams controls over to Crowley.
Offensively, Kevin Stallings runs a pro-style offense. They spread the court, a lot of motion, not afraid to utilize that clock.
Bryson is quick as a cat, and Williams is just as quick. There's Williams with the ball right now. Down to Crowley. Shot clock down to 10. Watkins inside. He goes up strong and gets the first bucket. Illinois State takes the early lead.
And that's a matchup that Illinois State can really utilize. Watkins' great size and strength.
Ben Walker from the corner. His shot too strong, but Buford digs out the rebound. Into the corner. They did a shot clock.
Little zone defense, 2-3. They want to try to keep Creighton on the perimeter. They better be careful because Creighton's a pretty dangerous team from outside.
Swenson kicks it out. Sears, his shot too long. And another rebound by the Blue Jays and a foul. They're going to call Riley, Sean Riley, going over the back.
I had a chance to talk to Sean Riley. I said, what concerns you most about the Blue Jays? And he said, number one, they're the best rebounding team in the MVC. Got to keep a close eye on those numbers. Illinois State has had a lot of injuries that have destroyed their front line.
Buford from the corner, and he's got his first three-pointer. He didn't have one in the last game.
For our viewers out there, if you're trying to figure out which one Buford is, he's the guy that's going to be putting the ball in the basket all afternoon.
He is now 5 points shy of moving into a tie for the second place all-time scoring list at Creighton as Watkins' shot was an air ball, partially deflected. Here comes Sears. Ahead to Swenson, who wants the three. It teases, and the rebound vacuumed by Bryson.
Notice that big brace on Bryson's leg. Weight room injury, preseason stress fracture. Amazing that he doesn't practice, but he still leads the team in minutes played this year.
Luke Williams, the talented freshman out of Kansas City. To Bryson. Shot clock down to 10. And a foul on the baseline as Crowley went up strong and drew a foul. Charge it to Swenson, Doug Swenson, the senior from North Dakota.
Nice entry pass, dribble drive, baseline side. You want to get Swenson in foul trouble. He is a very good defender inside. Entry pass, and Crowley's not known as a scorer. His contributions come at the defensive end of the court. He's got a big job ahead of him today trying to control Rodney Buford. So in a lot of ways, his best defense is just to rest on the offensive end of the court. Wait till he gets to the point where he needs to stop Buford.
Crowley, the junior from Naperville, Illinois, a former walk-on, which is an interesting story because Kevin Stallings does not like walk-ons. He hits 1 of 2 free throws, and we are tied at 3.
Really sends a clear message, though. If you come out, practice hard, doesn't matter what your status is. If you're the best player, you're going to be in the starting lineup.
Walk-on who is now starting.
Three-man dribble weave on the perimeter.
Quick hands of Bryson, knock it out of Buford's hand.
Darren, you know, you had mentioned that pace is going to be an issue. Illinois State would love to keep this game in the 50s. Creighton would love it up in the 80s. It's going to be interesting to see who's able to dictate the pace they want so much.
What a fantastic play by the sophomore, Tyrese Bryson. Had the presence of mind to realize that his man was up in the air and took the shot and drew the foul. He's going to get 3 free throws.
Well, first of all, why does Swenson picks up his second early foul even have to contest that shot? That's well outside NBA range. If Bryson's going to shoot it from close to 30 feet, I'm going to give him that shot. Now you take one of your best big guys, and he's going to have to sit down.
You're looking at Nerijus Karlakanovas, the junior from Rusine, Lithuania, set to check in for Swenson as the second free throw. Good. Now they'll put Karlakanovas in.
By the time you say Nerijus Karlakanovas, there's really not much else you even have time to say about the guy.
So he hits all 3 of us. Redbirds up by 3. How did I know you were going to say something about the guy?
I've got all kinds of things I'd like to develop about the guy, but I just don't have time. I'm just going to call him Nerijus, okay?
Here's Nerijus going baseline, and he's rejected by Riley. Here comes Williams racing the other way, and now he'll pull out and set it up.
I'm anxious to watch Williams play. He's a 94-foot player. He told me before the game that it's kind of disappointing because he wants to run up and down, but he knows the best offense is half-court and slow.
Watkins with a little traveling violation. He moved his foot before he dribbled. A senior, the first non-qualifier to take advantage of that new NCAA rule, which allows the 4th year to graduate on time. It's a good rule. Buford, and a blocking foul on Watkins, who appeared to have had his feet set, but the refs say no.
Defensively, Creighton has a tough set. They only run one play, but a lot of it is motion, pick and roll basketball, and Watkins, he had good position, but he allowed Buford to split the double team. That's a cardinal sin whenever you're going to play aggressive on the perimeter.
Olekanovich kicks out to Johnson. They're working around to Walker.
Yeah, I mentioned they only have one set, but there are about 10 or 12 different wrinkles they can look to score from that spread offense.
Olekanovich from the corner, and he nails the three-pointer. So the 6'8" guy showing the range. You know they've had that outside game over.
He's got the typical European game, though. You know, he loves it on the perimeter, capable of shooting threes.
Watkins with the left-handed hook shot off the glass. Redbirds retake the lead. Sears works the perimeter. Here's Walker to Donnie Johnson.
Very deliberate ball.
Walker, the sophomore from Wisconsin, his shot's too long, and Riley has another rebound.
You can see it in Williams' eyes. He wants to run. He wants to get up and down. Very quick player. As a matter of fact, the quickest guy on the court, easily.
Here's Watkins again with that left hand, and Riley cleans it up. Nice little putback there by the 7-footer out of Creighton, Texas.
You know what happened there? Defensive mistake by Watkins. Excuse me, nice play by Watkins, and Riley was left wide open because Johnson had to come from the weak side to try to block the shot. You've got to get some defensive help sinking and filling.
Shot clock down to 15 as the Blue Jays work it around. Walker inside, Johnson shot. They call it off. They call it the foul beforehand, so the basket will not count. There's a break in the action. We'll take one here as well. ISU leading it, 10-6. Back in Normal, Illinois, 10-6 our score. Leroy Watkins, you got to love this inside game.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of high basketball IQ. Crowley goes right inside to Watkins, and the reason is Karl Cannabis comes in cold off the bench. He can take an opportunity to exploit a cold defender, and you look at Watkins. This is the man that can probably give you some directions to the weight room on campus. Comes in 310 pounds as a freshman. He's chiseled his body over these last 4 years.
Buford the turnaround, his shot a little too strong, and Riley has his third rebound of the game. Crowley working up high to Riley. They weave on the perimeter. Bryson. Knifeson kicks out to Riley to skip over to Crowley, who threw it out of bounds. He had Williams wide open in the corner, but the defensive pressure got to him, and he commits a turnover. We've got a substitution coming into the game. Get our first look at Corey Brandon, the senior from St. Louis, Missouri, and also checking in is Kyle Cartnell.
Defensively, Creighton is an erratic defensive team at best, especially on the road. Their last two games, they play Southern Illinois, who averages 60 points a game. They put up 85. Wichita State only averages 63. They put up 98. So let's not look beyond the fact that Creighton's going to score points, but can they do it on the defensive end?
Beautiful spin move by Johnson, but he couldn't finish. Here's Williams. Cartnell from three. He's got it.
How long has he been in the game?
All of about 30 seconds.
Now the scouting report says he's a shooter. I guess that's pretty accurate.
Johnson into the corner to Walker. He knifes into the lane. Cannabis' pass was knocked down, and it goes out of bounds off of the Blue Jays. You talk about the speed that the Redbirds have. That really was the key to setting up that last three.
Right, and the best time, the easiest time to get a three is in transition because the defense is taught you get back, cover the lane. And you remember Cartnell last year in the NCAAs versus Tennessee. He was the playmaker that set up the final shot to win the game in overtime. He's a great shooter. The play was run for him. He wanted to make the shot, but unselfishly delivered the ball. And you see, field goal percentage, just a component of what kind of shots you're getting. Illinois State execute their offense so far.
Bad pass by the Redbirds, and here come the Blue Jays. A couple of new players on the floor for them. As Buford pulls up from the free throw line and knocks it down. The lead is now down to 5. Here's Victor Williams, who was the co-player of the year with Jerron Rush in Kansas City. Look at the speed. He couldn't finish it, and Watkins could not put in the tap back. Sears the other way. That's Huss. Alan Huss working on Watkins, forces one, and Riley has another rebound.
We expected there to be a disparity on the glass in this game, but it's been reversed. Illinois State has done an exceptional job of boxing out and securing the rebound. They're a pretty big team, but a lot of times they just don't pursue the ball very well.
Bryson in the corner working on Brandon. He wants the three-pointer. Flanks off the rim. Now Creighton with the chance to cut the lead to 3. They can cut it to 2 if that 3 goes. It doesn't. And Watkins has a rebound. So Sears a little too long. Remember, it was Creighton winning the last meeting in January, the first time they had beaten the Redbirds in 11 outings. Williams the spin. Nice pass to Riley, and he nails the layup. Count it and the foul.
Sean Riley is a roller coaster player. When he's on his game, he's capable of 20 points. 7 foot, nice touch, exceptional drive dish by Williams. And you had mentioned that Creighton has never won on this court. 0-10 in this building versus Illinois State. And more than anything else, Riley told me today at shoot-around practice that he knows he's a roller coaster player, but a big part of it, if he can get some positive things happening on the offensive end in the first 5 minutes, he feels like he gains confidence and becomes Superman out there. Well, so far he's off to an excellent start.
He misses the free throw.
Doesn't happen.
He was at 7, and here comes Bryson the other end as the Blue Jays commit a turnover. Look at the move by Bryson. He juked Corey Brandon out of his shoes and drew a foul.
Now, if you watch NFL football, you see this kind of footwork. Number 20, Detroit Lions, Barry Sanders, just froze the defense, took the baseline, and there's the help defense that Dana Altman has been so concerned about. You've got to get there, get the 2 feet planted, and draw that charge.
You know, former players say that Tyrese Bryson has a chance to be the best player to ever play at Illinois State. They played with him over the summer right here in Redbird Arena. We have a break in the action. We'll be back. 16-8 our score. 15 left to go in the first half. We told you at the beginning of the game about Buford and Bryson. They have not disappointed as advertised.
No, and what makes both of these players so exceptional is their ball skills. They put the ball on the deck real well, and there's not a big man on either team to clog up the lane. They both have carte blanche with the ball, and it shows they're confident players, and they put the ball in the hole.
What's interesting is Bryson, as you mentioned, is playing with that stress fracture. And I really, to be honest with you, it scares me to think of how quick he would be without that stress fracture.
How do you play with a broken leg? As a matter of fact, Bryson doesn't even have a chance. There's Cartmill, tip the ball. He doesn't even have a chance to practice. The guy rides his bike in practice every day. I would think by this time of the season he could qualify for the Tour de France.
Quick release by Rodney Buford, and that cuts the lead to 6. Here comes the pressure by the Blue Jays, and it's effective as Watkins can't handle the pass.
Nice adjustment by Creighton and Dana Altman. They're trying to seduce Illinois State into a 94-foot game, and they know that if it gets down to depth, Dana Altman certainly has more quality players than he can go to.
Substitution, Swinson in for Huss. see the turnover situation pretty even in the early going. They skip it to Swinson. The baseline shot and knocked out of bounds off the hands of Watkins. He is so quick. First person in Illinois State with 100 blocks and 100 steals at his size.
He's certainly going to get some consideration for Conference Defensive Player of the Year.
And he can rebound, as you saw right there. Buford with another miss. Again, the pressure. Walker the steal. He goes up strong, counted, and he got fouled. Beautiful angle he had on Cartmill, who tried to just reach in and knock the ball away, but they catch him on it.
You've heard the old adage about the best offense is a good defense. Here's a good look at it right here. Walker's job is to get it done at the defensive end of the court, and this is a great way to jumpstart your offensive game, gain some confidence, and this is exactly what Coach Altman's looking for, because on the offensive end of the court, Illinois State is sound, fundamental. They're giving them no easy looks. You got to try to get some points somehow, and they're doing it on the break.
When you look at Walker, he was like stealing a handoff. He played football in high school at Oak Creek High School in Wisconsin. As he hits the free throw. Actually was recruited by 7 of the 11 Big Ten schools for football. 16-3 our score. Darren Horton, Tim McCormick with you from Redbird Arena in Normal, Illinois. Down low, Watkins, and he is fouled by Brian Sears.
Well, that's a beautiful entry pass from up top. Difficult angle. You notice the seal, lock and lob. Ball goes inside. He released, didn't push off, and Watkins is a very active player. He's got the big body, but what I like is the footwork. If you're looking at a big guy as a young man, you say, well, what's his upside? The two things you want to look at here, Darren, the footwork, I give him a plus on that, and the hand.
It's World All-Around Speed Skating Championship on ABC's course. But I like the fact that they utilize Riley's size on the perimeter to get the ball in.
He has perimeter skills, as does Swenson for Creighton. That's why the trademark for both of these teams, they're perimeter-oriented. They've got get-to-the-basket kind of players, and there's not a big man clogging up the lane.
Buford into Swenson. Will give and go. Kicked out Sears for 3. Too strong and an over-the-back foul, I should say. Charging to Rodney Buford.
I'm a fan of macho rebounders like that. You grab a rebound, it's like you get a big shot of testosterone through your body. You're feeling all big and strong, and then you want the ball at the offensive end as well. That wasn't a good decision by Buford. They need him on the court.
Watkins is a big guy who knows how to use his body.
It's the first time we've seen a little 1-2-2 zone defense. Nice adjustment by Coach Altman. Coach Stallings knows that he's just got to get his guys patient, and that's the point guard's job.
Here's Crowley. Shot clock under 10. Into the corner, Cartmill. Shot clock down to 4. Bryson, and they say that Cartmill's foot was on the baseline. He was out of bounds, so a turnover for Illinois State.
A little bit tentative there. The zone really seemed to throw them off. They had a nice little rhythm inside out against man-to-man. Now they have to make an adjustment to find out where the holes in that zone are going to be.
Here's Walker, the baseline move for the easy layup. Blew by his man. So Creighton within 2, and here comes the pressure and another steal. Buford wide open, and the slam dunk and the foul. Wow! Man! He was like a cat getting up.
Well, all you have to say to describe Buford's game, 2,000 points. That pretty much says it. The guy is explosive, and here the diamond press works perfectly. Cartmill cannot pick up the ball against that trap, and let's just sit back and enjoy.
And that basket, folks, that basket as we take another look. Man, he is exciting. That moves him into second place all-time on the Creighton scoring list. He just passed Chad Gallagher. Next in line, Bob Hartstadt.
Look out, Bob. Your days are numbered, my friend.
123 points until he catches Bob.
Buford, to me, he's a manufacturer out there. He gets the ball, and there's so many different ways that he can score. So far, we've seen him on a break. We saw a perimeter jump shot. We saw a couple things in the paint. The guy is explosive. Once again, zone defense. The hole appears to be right in the middle.
Watkins up strong, and he draws a foul on Buford, and that will be his second. Watkins may not have the hops, but he knows how to use his body.
Now, and you see him holding off. Once again, we've seen this excellent interior passing, and that's very difficult against the zone. But that's smart. Where is the opening in this Creighton zone? It's certainly going to be in the middle of the paint, and that's where Watkins has a big smile on his face because he knows he's going to be the recipient of those post-entry passes.
Leroy Watkins, the first person from his family to graduate from college. One of the first non-qualifiers to take advantage of that new NCAA rule, as we mentioned before, and he graduated on time and received another year of eligibility.
I told him, my man, you need to look at some football when you're done playing here because I can see with that footwork he'd be a nice defensive end for somebody.
The free throws give Illinois State the lead again, but Buford blew by Watkins. Luckily, the ref saves Watkins a little embarrassment, calls for the little reach foul.
Well, Leroy, I gave you some props on your footwork, but let's be realistic here.
Well, I don't think Leroy touched him. He said, I'm not quick enough to catch this guy.
You definitely don't belong out there against Buford. He needs to keep his body in the paint.
Now Illinois State into a little zone defense.
First time these teams met in Omaha. All 5 great scores, double figures, all the starters.
That's Corey Brandon handing it off to Matt West. Shot clock under 10. West on the baseline. Kicked out. Corey Brandon for 3, and he's got it. The senior from Riverview Gardens High School. Again, the pressure. Riley, the 7-footer, skips it across. A dangerous pass to Watkins.
We had talked about score, understanding the clock, and tempo. This pace favors Illinois State. They don't want a game in the 80s. They're playing it more like a 60 or 70 pace, and they can deal with that.
And there you see nearly another steal. Williams, the knife in, and Watkins up strong, but the left hand wasn't true. But it's kicked back out. Williams kicks out. Jepson now from the baseline, and he's got it. Sean Jepson, the freshman, making some noise. 21-20, Illinois State with a 1-point lead. Brandon from the corner. Williams the other way. Jepson wants a 3. Too strong as Sears chases it down.
Yeah, this is a little bit dangerous for Illinois State going up and down. If they've got good looks, go for it. But against Creighton, he's up-tempo. A little bit like throwing some gas on the fire. You might ignite something that's going to be real hot and you don't want to deal with.
Both teams settle into the zone. West wants a 3-pointer, and it goes in and out. And Leroy Watkins has yet another rebound.
Zone defense.
7 rebounds for Watkins. What is the zone? Where's the opening in this zone?
Well, you see right where it says the valley, that's the spot. Oh, also on the baseline.
That was an incredible pass. Right over the top of the defense. That is not an easy pass.
I was ready to say, don't throw the cross court. You can't get the nice pass.
A lot of coaches know about that. West goes baseline against the 7-footer and can't get it over his hands. But Watkins knocks it out of bounds. The ball will be Creighton's when we come back. Rodney Buford has his team attacking. This slam dunk has his team within 3. 23-20. Redbird here at Redbird Arena in Illinois. Darren Horton along with Tim McCormick. 3-point lead for Illinois State. You know, Dana Altman, the only coach in Creighton history to lead the Blue Jays to an improved record in 4 consecutive seasons. In fact, when you go back to Altman's K-State days, he's led his team to improve records in 8 of the last 9 years. And the only other coach in the Missouri Valley Conference to accomplish this feat, an improvement for 4 consecutive years, was the great Henry Iba.
Yeah, you're going back 91 years. Iba was at Oklahoma A&M, which is now Oklahoma State.
Interestingly enough, Creighton beat Oklahoma State this year. What a season for the Valley. Their RPI at 7, and Walker goes baseline against the 7-footer, but they say Sean Riley got him with the body.
That's the beauty of this Creighton offense. They spread the court. And if it looks familiar, this is the same offense that former Iowa State and Michigan coach Johnny Orr used to run. They try to spread the court. They space things out. And the danger is that Sean Riley, 55 for White, he's one of their only big men. They can't afford to get him in foul trouble, so it's a very good idea to take the ball to the basket.
You know, later today at 5:30 on ESPN2, Bob Huggins and his number 5 Cincinnati Bearcats look to rebound from an earlier loss this week at Marquette as they travel to face the improving St. Louis Pelicans in the Kiel Center. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
If Sean Riley wants to figure out how to make that block without fouling, he should check that game out and see a man named Kenyon Martin.
Man, that guy has got some serious ups. 23-20 our score. Williams will knife through the press himself to Watkins, whose pass is intercepted by Sears like a defensive back. Down low, Donnie Johnson on the 7-footer, and the rebound is cleaned up by Nereus Karlakanovas. Bryson on the other end to Riley. Double team kicked out. Williams from 3. Riley there to clean up the long shot. And Sean Riley is having a nice game.
Now what we're finding is that the rebounding is getting a little bit suspect on both ends. Offenses aren't clicking. Field goal percentages are plummeting. So here's the rule. If you're not making shots, go to the glass, get yourself some layups.
Sears off a screen. He nailed the 3-point. So Ryan Sears, the sophomore from Ankeny, Iowa, doesn't have a lot of speed, but man, can he shoot.
He's the zone buster. In that case, he's the man buster.
Blue Jays reignited by that zone. Bryson wide open, and he's got the 3. Look at the range.
Now, Bryson has a little bit of the same thing as Rodney Buford. They're both top scorers in the MVC. Both do it the same kind of way. Nice dribble penetration skills, but can make the jumper as well.
Corey Brandon knifed him, but his pass is knocked out of bounds. We'll be back. There's a break in the action. 3-point lead, but you'd have to wonder what the score would be if they didn't have these 8 turnovers.
No, and here's one of them. The goal of the Creighton press is to put the ball in the hands of the non-ball handlers. Leroy Watkins with one of the team's 8 giveaways, and that's been one thing that's gotten them back in this game. Williams has to keep the ball in his hands. He's the decision maker, and he's got to just run that half-court offense.
Creighton has 14 points off of turnovers, and nearly another one, but Johnson called with a blocking foul. Substitution coming in for Illinois State. Ryan Crowley, the starter. Will check in for Sean Jepson. Jepson, a guy who really wouldn't have seen a lot of playing time without the injury to L.D. Murdoch. We haven't really talked about that, but L.D. Murdoch, the 6'9" junior from Columbus, Kansas. As you see, Williams knocked down the free throw. But we talk about L.D. Murdoch, who began his career at Missouri and transferred in, he was averaging 16.7 points per game. And to lose him to that ACL injury really is diminished their firepower.
Well, when you had Murdoch, Watkins, and Riley, that's a great rotation with your three big men.
Cannabis wants the three-pointer, and he's got it with a man in his face, no less.
Yeah, I like Darius's attitude. His touch-to-shot ratio today has been 1-to-1. Every time it hits his hands, you know the ball's going up.
I noticed your first name basis with Carla Cannabis. You call him Darius, right?
I've got a lot to say about that. I don't have time to say both first and last names when you're more than 3 syllables with each.
There you take a look at L.D. Murdoch, who we were talking about. Began his career at Missouri, and he scored 23 in the first game between these two teams. I mean, they could surely use him. But he's the #1 cheerleader now.
He's also a real good defender as well. He'll have a lot of time to get that knee healthy, and he'll be a strong factor down the road. LD likes defense. Is that what it is?
Chad Mazanowski checking in for Sean Riley, so Kevin Stallings going deep into the bench. Crowley makes 1 of 2 from the line, and the lead is back to 2.
Defensively, once again, you notice that they're willing to pressure, but they don't want to get too far out on the court because of the penetration skills that Creighton has.
Carla Cannabis into the corner. The three-pointer on the way a little too long. And Corey Brandon couldn't chase down the rebound. It goes off of his foot. Illinois State's ball.
Pretty good rule of thumb that perimeter shots, if they miss, are going to go out long. That's the reason that as the field goal percentage has been a little up and down, the guards have to be aware of helping on the glass.
Here's Watkins. Bryson off a screen. Knifes in, tried to get it down to Crowley, but it's a turnover. And here come the Blue Jays the other way. Nice pass inside to Johnson. Wow, Walker threading the needle like a quarterback there. We're tied at 30. Under 2 minutes to go. Here's Williams to Bryson. They'll weave from the perimeter. Williams shot no good. Rebound into Johnson's hand. Ahead to Walker. He wants to go one-on-one with Crowley, and the Watkins rejects it. Get it out of here, he said. How about Creighton on the fast break? I mean, the passing on that last pass. Walker, look at this.
Well, you advance the ball up the court, and look at the entry pass from Walker inside to Donnie Johnson, and you're making defensive plays at both ends of the court. Walker made the nice pass. There's the send back. Watkins has been very strong.
Don't forget the Courtyard by Marriott halftime report coming up courtesy of ESPN News. Syracuse and Pittsburgh highlights on tap. And, of course, an update from the Super Bowl of auto racing as Daytona 500 is underway.
You know what I like most about that Walker pass? See, the guards have it easy. They play basically foul line to foul line. The big guys have to run from basket to basket. It's a lot longer. You have to reward the big guys.
A turnover by the Blue Jays down low as it was stripped, and a 20-second timeout called by Kevin Stallings immediately. He wants to get Riley back into the game with 1 minute and 24 seconds left to go in this first half. You know, you talked about the Missouri Valley Conference, and for years, Illinois State just sat on the top and dominated everybody else. But this year, they're the ones struggling as you take a look at these two teams.
What I would say is that of these teams, you're going to have 3 legit teams that are probably going to get into the NCAA, possibly a 4th. Teams that you're looking at, Creighton, Southwest Missouri State, Bradley and Evansville, Creighton, teams like that. It's going to be very interesting to see how the selection from Evansville has just been outstanding now.
You know, interestingly enough, Evansville, out of the top 4 teams, has the lowest RPI.
Yeah, but the 19 wins with 4 games left in the season, plus you've got the tournament. I've got to believe they're a lock to get in.
Another steal. Sears rips off Cartmail and takes it in. And Creighton has their first lead of the first half. Under a minute to go. Down low, Watkins to turn around. Count it! And the foul. Leroy Watkins. Donnie Johnson fouled him.
If you don't look like you want the ball and you're a big man, you're probably not going to get it. But notice the positioning here. He's got a look on his face like, look, give me the ball, you little point guard out there. I've got some work I want to do. And he certainly started off strong. He gained the confidence and all that stuff. These are just layups for him. There's almost nobody on defense that has the size or strength for Creighton to keep him out of there.
So strong. You know, he originally went to DePaul but never played there. Take a look at his numbers today. 11 points, 7 rebounds, makes 12 points on the free throw, and the Redbirds retake the lead.
Is there another thing he does? He doesn't put it up too quick.
Sears from 3, and a foul. Oh, wait a minute. Traveling on Buford. So the Redbirds can extend the lead now with 38 seconds. There'll be about a 5-second disparity between the shot clock and the play clock when we get going here. A couple of substitutions coming in. Sean Jepson will check in for the Redbirds.
Patient offense by Creighton, but you're probably thinking, what in the world is that shot from Sears going up so quick? 40 seconds to go on the clock. They were going for the 2-for-1 opportunity.
Williams beats his man, and what a pass to Riley! Wow! He gets into the lane, attracts the attention, and finds the open man.
Williams is a nice setup, man. I like the guy's game.
A 3-point lead for the Redbirds. 13 seconds left. Here's Sears, under 10 seconds to go. They spread the floor, and Sears, nice in, blocked by Watkins. 3 seconds to go. And with 1 second to go, it will be Illinois State's ball.
With 1 second, they need something quick, obviously. Catch, launch.
He wants it. No, just shy. So with that missed shot, we will go to halftime. 35-32 is our score. Illinois State with the lead. ESPN News coming up at halftime. To our score at halftime. Darren Horton along with Tim McCormick with you from half court. Creighton still looking for their first victory ever here in Redbird Arena. And if Rodney Buford plays another half like he did, they're probably going to get it.
Rodney Buford is one of the more explosive players in America. And here he's getting it done on the defensive end of the court. The trap, diamond, 1-3-1. One did a nice job of generating some easy points. Buford, 9 points first half, 4 rebounds. But the big story was Leroy Watkins, and I mean big. He had a dynamic low post performance. Also, turnovers have to be much of a consistent effort in the second half. Illinois State did not do a good job of turning it over. They had 10. That's too much. And more than anything else, you look at the field goal percentage, 52%. When they broke the press, they did a nice job. The turnovers just killed Illinois State. They have to do a much better job of breaking the press and getting into their offense.
Creighton with 18 points off of those turnovers as we get set to go here in the second half. It's Swenson on the floor along with Sears. Buford, Donnie Johnson, Ben Walker for Creighton. Williams, Bryson, Crowley, Watkins, and Riley for the Redbirds.
It's kind of interesting that the first time these teams met, game was fairly similar. Second half, Creighton exploded for 54 second half points.
Sears with a man in his face, and he hesitated and knocked it down. That was a big-time shot. Gets the Blue Jays to within 1. Look at the pass down to Crowley, but the fake cost him because it's blocked. Ahead to Walker. Swenson double teamed. Wide open, and Riley with a foul with the body.
It's the second time we've seen that today where a double team comes on a low post man, and the defense allows them to slice through and get it. Now, this is the double-edged sword that Illinois State's going to have to deal with. If you run the break and you miss, then you're falling right into what Creighton wants, and that's up-tempo basketball.
See Donnie Johnson with a foul. Will be the third foul on Riley as Swenson goes to the free throw stripe where he shoots 73%. A lot of people feel like Doug Swenson has pro potential, but they feel like he has to go to Europe, build up. He's a big guy, 6'10", 210 now.
If you look around the MVC, you'd have to think that he and Danny Moore would be considered first team all MVC. Numbers pretty similar. I believe that he's a better passer than Moore, and that might give him some strong consideration.
The 2 free throws give Creighton the lead. Redbird break the press.
Now, this is much better. You know, breaking the press to me is like when you go fishing. If you're patient.
Look at the backdoor pass. Beautiful pass to Crowley. Man. Pardon me, Tim.
Boy, that was beautiful. That's a set play, though.
Walker on the other end. Over to Swenson. Shot clock down to 15. Swenson into the double team, and they call a jump ball. And Riley this time gets a little revenge after the foul. But how about that pass?
If you watch some Ivy League basketball from time to time, you might see this from a team called Princeton. High post, UCLA, nice backdoor cut. And what happened, Buford took a look, watched the play to the ball rather than keeping contact with his man.
Williams through the zone by himself, but he can't finish. And no foul call as he went to the deck. Here's Walker to Sears from 3. Got it.
See, there's that double-edged sword again. If you're going to go and attack the press, you better score. If you don't, you're going to keep seeing it.
Creighton now has their largest lead at 2.
Think that depth is coming into it a little bit?
We're certainly going to find out. That's part of the problem that Kevin Stallings' group has. An offensive foul. What a play by Ryan Sears. The sophomore from Ankeny, Iowa, just outside of Des Moines.
Well, sudden death for Illinois State, 2 things. Turnovers and quick shots. And the second half has Kevin Stallings irate. The players have to understand who they are and what they do. They don't have the bodies. They can't afford to get an up-tempo game. And the turnovers fall right into what Creighton is trying to accomplish, and that's to speed this thing up.
Scramble in the corner, but a quick timeout called by the heady Ryan Sears. There you see Dana Altman and all that he has done. Don't forget, coming up this Monday, tomorrow night, Big Monday will move to ESPN2 at 7:30, a Big East matchup from Alumni Hall as Providence travels to New York to beat number 8 St. John. At 9:30, it's on to the Big 12 as the Sooners and Tigers square off in Columbia. Then at 11:30 from the WAC, the UNLV Runnin' Rebels taking on the Golden Hurricane of Tulsa again this week. Big Monday, moving to the Deuce. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. SB's on the mothership, so we move Big Monday over to the Deuce.
I'll tell you what, I'm anxious to check out a little defense from the WAC. I don't know if you've seen Michael Ruffin play, but in my mind, he's the best defensive player in America this year.
Wow. High accurate.
Love Ruffin.
What about the job that Bill Self has done?
Outstanding. Sending some love to Tulsa and Bill Self on Valentine's.
Walker, nice play, count it, and the foul. He is explosive.
And what I like about Ben Walker, it's something that's so impressive about Creighton. They have 3 perimeter players that all have backgrounds as point guards in high school. He has the nice dribble drive. He's playing the off-guard position, and the high screen and roll. Swenson does his job. He caused the mismatch, and Watkins doesn't have the foot speed.
So Watkins picks up his 3rd foul. And Ben Walker, the outstanding player from Oak Creek, Wisconsin, hits the free throw, and the lead is now up to 5.
You know what else I noticed here? This tempo has completely taken Watkins out of the game. They're taking quick shots, and they're not giving him the post touches.
Creighton now on a 10-2 run, and Crowley can't stop the bleeding Ken Riley. No, the rebound by Swenson, and they can build on the lead. Walker down low. The turnaround shot is no good by Bates, and a foul on the rebound. If it's on Riley, it's his 4th. No, they say it's on Watkins, and that's his 4th.
And this is a great example of why you need that front court depth. Nice post entry, and Watkins doesn't do a good job of boxing out here. Swenson snuck in there, and that's just lazy basketball. Leroy Watkins, we said a lot of nice things in the first half about your stellar play, but that was a big mistake, and it's going to cost your team.
And now you see the depth come into play, because subbing in for Watkins is going to be Kyle Cartmill, who is 6 foot, 180 pounds, and outgoing is Leroy Watkins, who is 6'7", 265 pounds.
When you lose 100 pounds in a substitution, it's signaling a problem.
So they have to go with a smaller lineup, and remember, they don't have the services of L.D. Murdoch, the 6'9", 240-pound junior, nor do they have the services of Ronald Van Velzen, the 6'10 player from the Netherlands. And there you see Dana Altman enjoying what his team's doing as they pull away. And they discharge a foul to Buford. That will be his 3rd, and he's going to get a break. Matt West will check in for him.
There's Swenson. You know that Swenson was named on the All-American Farm Team. He's from a ranch in North Dakota. The name of the magazine is Successful Farming. I don't personally have a subscription, but I've heard about it.
Did you grow up on a farm in Michigan?
No, I didn't. I visited a farm with my school once.
Crowley underneath, and he had the presence of mind to put a little pump fake on Swenson. Let's see who they charge it to.
See, that play right there should be Watkins, though, and it should be 2 points. Crowley, a former walk-on, does his job exceptionally well. Nice dribble drive, getting inside, and, you know, let's be realistic. If Watkins is on the core there, he catches and converts that play.
You know, Crowley and I have something in common.
What's that?
His big goal in life is to dunk in a game.
Well, both of you should set some realistic goals for yourself.
Second free throw is good.
You know, I would think that Crowley probably has a better chance since he can actually dunk the ball, though.
Yeah. That's pretty good with the 9-foot ribs, though. Here's West. Just inserted in. Down low, Cliff Bates, the turnaround, in and out, and the rebound is loose like a fumble in football. Bates puts it up, he can't get it to go, and Riley gets the rebound. It looked like he tied him up, but they'll charge a foul to Cliff Bates.
Well, Bates has a reputation as a shooter. As a matter of fact, in his career, he actually has 2 assists. He has one last year and 1 this year, so you know he's going to shoot the ball every time he gets it. And that's a little frustration. You get a couple point-blank looks, you don't convert, that's when you reach.
Bryson with a little one-on-one move. His shot's no good, out of bounds, and back to Creighton. And it seems like Illinois State is really struggling with getting some points on the board.
Well, first half, they shot 52%. The only thing that kept them down were the turnovers. Second half, the turnovers much better, but they can't make a basket. They need to try to generate some easy points to get that confidence back.
Canavis on the baseline, double team, kicked out to Sears. What a pass inside and a foul. West went up and drew a foul, but the pass was so pretty by Ryan Sears.
Sears is the quarterback of this team. As a matter of fact, when Dana Altman was at Kansas State, he coached a player named Steve Henson. He was the assistant coach, Henson now with the Detroit Pistons. And they say that Sears and Henson have a lot of similarities in this game. And here's West stepping to the line.
Matt West in high school was not only a good basketball player, but at Westside High School in Nebraska, he batted .315 as a cleanup hitter. And talk about baseball, you saw the pass by Ryan Sears. His brother Todd, an All-American pitcher with Nebraska, is now in the Colorado Rockies system. As we take another look at Leroy Watkins, who is in foul trouble. His team is trailing by 4. We'll be back. Birds have won at least 12 conference games, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen this year. 20 or more wins for 5 years straight. As you take a look at Bryson, see the brace there. He's been playing injured, and they've had other guys who haven't been able to suck it up.
And what happened was he was lifting weights before the season and accidentally kicked the weight machine. For all the kids out there that want to be good basketball players, don't kick the weight machine.
See the disparity between the first half and second half for Illinois State. Riley down low, feeling pressure. Kicks it over to Bryson. Little one-on-one juke, and his shot is blocked. Shot from the corner off the side of the rim, and Creighton with another rebound. So the Redbirds continue to struggle from the field.
1 out of 7 in the second half. No open shots for the Redbirds.
Cliff Bates kicks it out, nearly turns it over. But nice save there by Corey Brandon.
And that's the benefit of getting into the shot clock early. They started executing their offense. Things didn't happen. They still have plenty of times after the miscue to get a good shot off.
Shot clock down to 5 as a foul is called on Tyrese Bryson.
You might ask why Tyrese Bryson is having such a tough half. Watch the defense. He wants to go to his left every single time, and the Creighton defense, Corey Brandon there, is forcing him to his right. That's completely taking him out of his comfort zone. Great defensive adjustment by Dana Altman.
Probably some pretty good scouting by the likes of Greg Grinsing and Glenn Gordy and Kevin McKenna, the assistant coaches for Dana Altman. Canavis wants it, and he's got it. He has such touch from outside. So the lead is now at 6. As Williams tries to knife in, kicks it to Crowley, who draws a foul on Miriam. So they call him Big Neg. Big Neg? He's from Rusina, Lithuania, and they call him Big Neg. How about Williams? He's really deciding that he's going to take it in.
He's an exceptional passer, and at that point, you're thinking to yourself, how are we going to get our offense going? Dana Altman, he's got his defense packed in the lane. Illinois State's not making baskets. You need to get to the basket player, and Williams has answered the call. They just try to milk the clock a little bit, but so far, I don't believe that Illinois State has matched the intensity that Creighton brought out at halftime.
And Altman goes back to Buford and Schwartz, and the free throws, I should say, plus the lead to 4. As Sears kicks it over to Swinson. The Redbirds in the man-to-man defense, and a foul will be called against Crowley, who was trying to stick Rodney Buford. Buford, one of the best players in America. If you don't believe me, take a look at these numbers.
I said, Rodney, do you remember the first point you scored in college? You said, there were too many points in between. I hadn't thought of that.
Bullock playing in Michigan, and B.J. Mackey playing in the SEC. Buford doesn't get the exposure of being out of Missouri Valley School. He is no less talented.
Yeah, well, The one thing that Dana Altman wants him to work on, though, is his defense. Those 2,000 points are impressive. Dana Altman said the next time he takes a charge, he will have 2,000 points and 1 charge taken. But, you know, the kid has been invited to Fort Smith Invitational tryout camp. He has 2-guard skills at the next level. He's going to get a look by one NBA team.
He will definitely be playing in the NBA.
He'll be glad to hear that.
You see the speed that he possesses. Exactly the same kind of speed you need on the next level. Speaking of speed, how about Williams?
The quickest man on the court, freshman point guard.
So the Redbirds hang around. Buford, the turnaround. Shot's too long, but he keeps it alive. And Walker has it. Now there's a scramble for it on the floor. And jump ball. Interesting to see what the call is going to be. Was it a possession? Was it a loose ball? It looked like a loose ball.
This is a very difficult thing. There's Buford is in the paint. No Valentine's being sent. The ball goes up. There's a scrum in the paint. Everybody's diving for it. And the question you ask is, who had possession first? That looks like simultaneous possession, which is going to go to Illinois State.
I thought Walker was a football player, but Williams showed that he can get down and dirty. A 4-point lead for Creighton here in the second half. 13 minutes, 25 seconds left to go. Darren Horton and Tim McCormick, and that's Victor Williams counting the touchdown. Illinois State within 2, and the fans come alive. Corey Brandon's left hand is true.
Strong response. This is just a couple little point guards going head-to-head. Oh, yeah, I like your move. I'm going to bring something right back at you.
Can Williams respond? Kicks out. Here's Bryson for 3. Individual guys strutting their stuff. Now Walker wants to go one-on-one with Jepson. Down low, Buford, and he's got one.
How do you like the ability to create space? He held, and then he was able to not fall over. It was real easy because all of a sudden on the release, there was no body to lean up against. That was an outstanding post catch.
Williams down low, and Riley couldn't jam it home. He was fouled hard by Corey Brandon. Buford, when he gets inside, really knows how to space it.
I'll also give credit to the post entry. Creighton doesn't have a lot of strength in the post, so Buford may be their best low post scorer. And also, the development of a point guard takes a lot of time. Williams is a freshman. The first thing that he learned is that he can't allow the crowd to dictate how he plays. He doesn't want opponent pressure to dictate it. Kevin Stallings has worked with him. You go out, you execute what I want you to do, and Williams has just taken over the second half.
The 2 free throws cut the lead to 1. And you see today why Kevin Stallings is such a sought-after coach. Corey Brandon from 3. The rebound put back in by Nereus Kolakanovich.
Now, if you look at the numbers, Creighton is number 1 in the MVC in rebound margin. You can tell why. They have a lot of athletes that aren't afraid to attack the glass.
Williams, what a play. He knocked it off of the Creighton player's back when he realized he was trapped. You see that play from the out-of-bounds line on the baseline sometimes, but he used it in the middle of action. We've got a break in the action. 53-50. We got a tight one, folks. 53-50. We got a little argument going on here. So.
Yeah, I don't agree with you. You're saying that Williams meant to throw it off Buford's back and then go retrieve the ball. I don't buy that.
No doubt about it.
All right, let's let the viewer decide.
Let's see here. Yeah, he sees it. The guy's back is turned. Come on. You got to give Victor Williams a little credit. That was a smart, heady play.
All right. I don't agree with you, but I don't want to come to blows on Valentine's Day.
Give me a little love, man. Inside Riley. And that bucket takes the Redbirds to within one. Illinois State controlled much of the first half as Buford nailed the floater. Here comes the track. Williams gets through it, but what a play by Donnie Johnson! Jepson finally digs it out. This is Valley basketball at its best. Riley down, a lot of guys down on the floor in another jump ball situation, and now we're getting some physical play down low as Riley was using his legs to clear a little space. But this is what the Missouri Valley is all about.
In a close game, you don't really focus on all the numbers. It's about getting on the floor. This is exceptional defense, and Illinois State is starting to answer now. You're probably going to say that Williams was trying to throw it off somebody and go retrieve it. That's a turnover caused by outstanding defense, and Jepson does a nice job of tracing the ball and then retrieving.
Riley knocked it out of Swenson's hands, and Illinois State with a chance to cut the lead to 1, and they can tie it with a 3.
Now this game and this next 10 minutes of the second half, 11 minutes, is going to dictate NIT or not for Illinois State. A lot of pressure on Kevin Stallings and his team. They're at 13-12, and they can't afford to lose one at home.
Williams draws the foul, charges to Sears. Take a look at Kevin Stallings, who is a tough year for him.
If you're young and you lose your best players to injury, they've had so many problems. You know, Kevin Stallings' secretary, she hurt her foot and had to have surgery, too. You just don't even want to be around this program because of all the injuries they've had.
Donnie Johnson got the rebound, but his foot was on the baseline. A turnover by Creighton. You know, Kevin Stallings, you take a look at his accomplishments here. And we mentioned before, this guy's name is mentioned whenever a big-time job comes up. But when we were talking about it before the game, people say the Missouri Valley Conference is a mid-major, but Illinois State is not a mid-major school.
No. And Kevin Stallings may be doing his best coaching job this season.
They run it big time as you take a look at their 7-footer. Sean Riley knocked it down. So Illinois State within 1. They've got fantastic facilities and fans. They not only go to the NCAAs, but they win games at the NCAA.
Both teams in the penalty. Good idea to go to the basket.
Nice little cut there by Nereus Karlakanovich. And Greg Swenson was able to find him.
The reason that Sean Riley is such an effective post player, nice baseline step, is because he's a great foul shooter. I believe there's a lot of post guys that don't make strong moves because in the back of their mind they're thinking, if I don't score this, if I get fouled, I'm not a very good free throw shooter. Riley is one of the best free throw shooters in America. Karlakanovich looks like he has a nice stroke as well.
Not bad, 83%. Donnie Johnson checks in for Doug Swenson. So you really think that? You think that a big man would not go as hard in the hole subliminally because he knows that he doesn't shoot free throws?
The only reason I say that, Aaron, is that I know that when I played, in the back of my mind, I knew how my free throw stroke was, and I always felt like if I was making free throws, I couldn't wait to get to the line, and I believe that Riley's the same kind of player.
At what point do you go back to Watkins, who we just saw on the screen a couple of seconds ago?
You know, I think that what's going to happen is Kevin Stallings is going to continue watching the clock, and as long as they stay in it, he's going to be sitting.
Bryson knifing through for the layup. He's doing it with a stress fracture, folks. Illinois State to within 1. Down low to Walker. He's double teamed, skipped over to a wide open Rodney Buford, and he knocks it down.
That's a defensive mental error, a little slippage. You can't leave Buford. Tyrese went to help along the baseline side, but you have to identify shooters.
A 4-point deficit for the Redbirds, who have never lost to Creighton in this building. Nice little backdoor pass to Jepson. We've got a foul. Charge it to Karlakanovich.
sign of a well-coached team. How the players deliver the ball. Also, are they willing to share it in the first place? We've seen several passes that have left our jaws hanging open, cross-court passes, which both players can't connect on. They're two well-coached teams that execute the game plan.
Swenson checks back in for Carla Cannabis, who has 4 fouls. And Jepson, the freshman from Spring Valley, Illinois, goes to the line. You know, interesting, Jepson, not a bad player. He finished 4th in the voting for Mr. Basketball in the state of Illinois behind Frankie Williams, Corey Maggette, and Clinton Richardson. Not bad company.
Yeah, I hope he wasn't going into the voting thinking he had much of a chance. That's some high-priced talent there.
A 2-point lead for Creighton. Buford to Sears, down to Swenson. He's double-teamed. He forces it up through the double-team, and it goes off of the hand of Crowley out of bounds.
Swenson, an interesting player, highly skilled. As a freshman in college, he grew 3 inches, and he's still trying to gain that strength and that conditioning. Oh, he's got a good pick on Sears, his own man.
Here's Buford. Preseason pick for the MVC Player of the Year. A foul will be charged to Tyrese Bryson. Bryson has the speed to stay up with him, but not necessarily the size, but he reached in with the hand and picked up his 3rd foul.
Well, this really illustrates the capabilities that Buford has. The 2 star players going head-to-head. You basically can run your offense through Buford. He can get to the line, he can make threes, nice mid-range game. He's got I don't want to say the complete package, it gets overused, but he certainly can do a lot of things out there.
And another foul, this one charged to Riley. It's his 4th. So now you've got, and now they'll call for Leroy Watkins off the bench. Watkins and Riley have 4. We talked about the lack of depth. It's coming into play, and going to the line is Corey Brandon.
Number 12, Corey Brandon is at the line.
I look at Corey Brandon as the perfect first guard off the bench, perfect 3rd guard, nice handle, point guard skills, to play the off guard if necessary. What happens is whoever gets in foul trouble or whoever gets a little bit tired first, you just plug Brandon in. Also has some stopper capabilities.
He played in that tough suburban North Conference in the St. Louis area for Riverview Gardens High School. His second one's no good, and Watkins has the rebound.
Now let's see if they utilize Watkins to try to get a big rested player some touches.
Williams brings it across. His team trails by 3, and a foul called as the intensity picks up here as we come down the stretch of this ball game.
44, Donnie Johnson, his 3rd. That's 9.
Even though Watkins doesn't get the touch, he makes his presence felt immediately. That wasn't a pick, that was a wall, he said.
They list him at 265 pounds, but I think he could clearly be 280.
Yeah, he said 270, but he didn't look real sincere. His heart wasn't in it when he was saying 270.
He doesn't get cheated at the buffet line. So they make 1 of 2 from the free throw stripe, and they trail by 2. Nice passing lane defense by Bryson.
And for whatever reason, this Creighton offense seems to have bogged down a bit in the second half. They call it the spread offense. It really reminds you a little bit of the Chicago Bulls triangle offense. It's an equal opportunity employer. When I say that, I mean the old Chicago Bulls triangle.
Quick release by Buford. It goes high. He doesn't get the roll, but look at the work by Donnie Johnson. He thought he knocked it out of bounds off of one of the Redbirds, but no, they say he hit the baseline. So Illinois State with a chance to tie. Let's take another look at it.
Well, you might say on the rebound, Donnie Johnson does a super job. He throws it off of his foot. Nope, well, I tell you what, that was a nice steal. That should be Creighton ball.
From 3, Williams. As Illinois State retakes the lead.
I That's a big turnaround. Big turnaround. Could have been Creighton's ball. Could be a 5-point swing.
Buford into the lane. A blocking foul. Charge it to Sean Jepson. This is when a leader must lead.
He's trying to manufacture something. The offense is bogged down. And a bit of frustration. That's kind of a bailout call. Usually you're not going to see a player like Buford out of control. He's fortunate to be on the foul line. Chance to tie it here.
A senior from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He torched Bradley earlier this season for 40 points. He's their all-time three-point leader. Broke Benoit Benjamin's freshman record. Broke Paul Silas's sophomore scoring record. As Buford knocks down the 2 free throws to put his team back up by 3. But Victor Williams has his team in the hunt. We'll be back.
Line, Rodney Buford, another strong game. Illinois State, Creighton, second half. Timeout here.
How about the defense there? Forcing a timeout on the floor. It's a 20-second timeout. Again, Creighton with that 1-point lead. It's been a balanced attack. If you take a look at the leading scorers of the ball game.
And what you're finding is that both of these teams in the second half, 53% from the field. You're saying the offense is there. Where's the defense? Dana Altman has acknowledged the fact that his players like offense more than defense, like most kids. But he's trying to teach them that if you want to be able to succeed in the NCAA tournament, offense isn't going to get it done.
Dana Altman was a long-time assistant of Ron Kruger at K-State, and many credit him with recruiting Mitch Richmond. Here's Jepson. Kicks out. Williams. They work it around.
You know who wants the ball? Watkins. He's calling for it. He's trying to get that position. They've got to get him the ball.
Shot clock down to 10. Finally, Watkins has it. Now he's double-teamed way out of his range. Skipped over to Bryson. The pull-up. A little shy, but he gets his own rebound. Over to Jepson, who's wide open for 3, and he's got it. The freshman is blowing up tonight. Buford and Brandon playing a little one-on-one, and a turnover. But Donnie Johnson gets on the floor. Buford for 3. Johnson is all over the place. Ball knocked up like a volleyball. Here's Brandon. Got it.
Offensive rebounds playing a significant factor on both ends of the court. The last 2 3-pointers acted as an inside-out attack. Missed shots translated to offensive rebounds. Defense, everybody in there trying to help on the glass. 3-point shooters wide open. Now this is a good example of Therese making people around him better. Tightrope, inside, out, bottom of the net. And at the other end, a carbon copy, same kind of plays, bodies going after the ball, tipped out.
But that couldn't have happened without Donnie Johnson, who was just a garbage can player in there with the hard hat. The 3-point shooting today has been impressive by both of these teams. As Johnson checks out of the game, and they'll go back to Kralikonovas. Watkins into the corner. Jepson with the fake. And the rebound by the All-Valley star, Rodney Buford. Just over 6 minutes to go. Walker's pass intercepted by Jepson. Bryson into the corner. Williams for 3. Brandon races the other way. The alley-oop. Oh, what a jam! Wow!
They're going to have to stop play. The net looks like it's been pulled down.
That was awesome.
What a delivery by Brandon.
A 3-point lead for the Blue Jays as Williams forces his way in and puts up the bucket and gets fouled. So he'll have a chance to tie the game. How about the pass?
Well, the pass is what excites me the most. The timing, that couldn't have been any better. And what an athlete from Buford. I like the fact that he was able to get flipped and not get hurt. 94-foot basketball, you've got to have the transition, but how do you stop that? Williams misses, and they retrieve the ball. Bryson with the rebound.
Crowley with a nice tap out to keep it alive. Williams open for another three, but he can't get this one to fall. So Illinois State with a chance to take the lead. And a foul on Corey Brandon.
And Williams goes to the line. Look, after the game, you and I are going to go and we're going to get a couple of applications, and we're joining the Williams fan club. Victor Williams has impressed both of us greatly with his floor leadership.
Sign me up. What a terrific player.
Get a membership card, hat, pencil.
Dick Bites out goes in as the conference diaper dandy.
Dickie V knows what he's talking about then. Yeah, it does need to work on his free throws, but on the season, 70% not bad. 2 out of 7 today, though. They're going to need him.
They're missing some felines. Second one on the way, and we're tied at 68. A classic Valley War here in Normal, Illinois. Walker into the lane. It gets down on the floor and stolen away by, guess who? Victor Williams. He's like a rabbit out there with his speed.
Here's their read. Spread court. I still want to see Watkins with the ball, though.
Jepson down low, and Watkins, couldn't get the left-handed ball.
Okay, I don't want to see Watkins in it. He's got to dunk that ball.
Skipped over.
It really seems that Creighton is trying to penetrate, but this defense is content to sit back there. They're trying to force the deep shots.
And the foul is on Crowley. His fourth foul.
2 shots.
At this point in the game, you're going to wonder who's favored in a foul shooting contest. Both teams in a double bonus. Creighton, one of the top 10 free throw shooting teams in all of America.
And Rodney Buford will go to the free throw line. And he can't knock down the front end as we take a look at our game summary. The field goal percentage has been fairly even. The bench points, however, really Creighton so much deeper, and that's what we've been talking about all day. The second one is good, so Creighton back up by 1, and Kevin Stallings decides to go back to his 7-footer, and out goes Ryan Crowley, the junior from Naperville, who has 4 fouls. Watkins, who's been in foul trouble, hasn't had a bucket since 47 seconds left in the first half.
You notice the defense, what they're trying to do with this press, they're trying to make non-ball handlers handle the ball. It was Riley and Watkins that basically broke that press, but if they're going to do that for the last 4 minutes of this game, you can expect some turnovers.
Williams, quick pass to Jepson, and he draws a foul on the baseline as he was trying to, looked like he was going to try to dunk it there with his left hand. Jepson's got a little hop in.
Shooting foul, 2 shots. Number 11, Sean Jackson to the line for the Rovers.
Assistant coach Kevin McKenna. I had a chance to play with him with the New Jersey Nets. Former Creighton All-American. Does a fine job preparing his Creighton ball club. CU very strong on the defensive end of the court.
That free throw gives Illinois the lead. We've had 8 lead changes, and we'll be back. When they beat Wichita State in the first round of the NCAA tournament, which was held there in 1990, but they've never beaten Illinois State here. In fact, the last time that they beat Illinois State, as we take a look at Rodney Buford, who's one shy of scoring with 2,000 points. The last time Creighton beat Illinois State, there was another Horton involved. Old Horton Fieldhouse is the site. As you take a look at Weston 3-point land, and his shot is no good, and the Redbirds get down, and Williams gets the rebound. Ahead to Bryson.
Tempo-wise, Illinois State, at this point, they've got no problem running up-tempo. They're not going to be tired if they're not already tired. They've walked it up. They seem pretty fresh, and if they've got the opportunity, they might as well run.
Darren Horton, Tim McCormick with you from Normal, Illinois. The Redbirds clinging to a 1-point lead. Riley, the short jumper is good. So the lead is back up to 3. Under 3 minutes to go now.
What we're seeing is Illinois State with a very efficient offense. They've done a much better job. Only 3 turnovers in the second half.
Now the Blue Jays will work their week. Walker, he wants to go one-on-one with Bryson. Now to Switchy. Shot clock under 10. Sears set up one-on-one. Shot clock down to 3. He loses his footing. And the shot is good at the buzzer by Doug Swinson. And a quick timeout. That shot ties the game at 72. We'll be back with a thrilling conclusion.
New Dodge. It's about change.
We are knotted up at 72 from Redbird Arena in Normal, Illinois. How about this last three-pointer, Tim McCormick?
Doug Swinson is such a valuable player because at 6'10", he has the ability to get out on the court. Riley's not used to covering on the perimeter, and that's the reason that he's so dangerous and able to get the open three-pointer.
Both teams in the bonus. Creighton with 1 timeout. Illinois State with 3, 1, a 20. And the possession arrow favoring Illinois State. Again, the pressure. Across to Watkins.
Once again, you see the goal of the press. They want Riley. They want Watkins handling the ball against the pressure.
Redbirds milking the clock as Williams goes in. Shot clock under 10. And they get it to Tyrese Bryson, who nearly pulls up from way downtown. And Jepson with a high floater. And the rebound corralled by Swinson.
As we look at the score, low 70s, at the beginning of the game, you would have thought that favors Creighton. However, they've done a pretty good job limiting possession. It's been very efficient offense.
Corey Brandon's shot was blocked by Watson. And a timeout. He tried to call a timeout, but they say that Sean Jepson, they say his shoulder touched the baseline, so he's out of bounds. Jepson was trying to call a timeout, but I don't know if David Hall saw him. As we have a substitution coming in. Let's take another look.
We've seen a lot of action on the offensive glass, and he just trips. That's travel. Good call. Nice piece of officiating.
Crowley is back in the game for Jepson.
See if they get Buford a touch. He's been quiet the last couple minutes.
We're tied at 72. Here's Sears from 3. In and out. But Swinson digs out the rebound. They can't hold it, and it goes out of bounds off of Creighton. Illinois State will have the ball, and Jepson's going to come back in.
Here's the good news, bad news situation. You're getting a lot of offensive rebounds. Well, that tells me that you're missing a lot of shots. Bodies flying everywhere. Swinson and Riley have been very active on the glass today.
Stallings has put Jepson back in for his offense. and Crowley will play on the defensive end.
I'm a big believer. Last minute, it's my best player against your best player. That can't be a good foul.
Or foul by switching way out on the perimeter. That will be his fourth.
2 shots.
And it will send one of the best free throw shooters in the country, Sean Riley, to the line. Riley shoots 89%, 7th nationally when the day began.
And he's 2 for 3. That's considered an off day for Sean Riley. He's hitting a winner first and off shot.
They realize they're going to be on defense, so they get Crowley back in there. Kevin Stallings with a little offense-defense sub.
Sean, when he's done, is going to be an orthopedic surgeon on this team. They could use his help this year.
So Riley knocks them both down, and Illinois State by 2. 45 seconds left to go in the ball game. Spears taking it to the hole, forcing the action. Bryson with the rebound. Bryson loses the ball as Sears nearly stole it away, but he knocks it out of bounds. Do you want Sears to shoot that shot? I mean, is that the best shot?
No, you've got to get the ball to 3-2 blue. Rodney Buford, nice job on the defensive end. That's a 4 shot. They can get that anytime. And I know Sears is a hard worker and a heady player, but you've got to go to the man. You've got to get it to your go-to player that has had a nice scoring game and has a chance to score 2,000 points today. Get him the ball.
I mean, the sophomore from McKinney, Iowa, Ryan Sears, just did not use, just didn't realize who had to take that shot. Don't forget, following us here on ESPN, the Steel Timber Series, as Bryson hits another one, and that's the decisive one that makes it a 2-possession game. So Illinois State by 4, 41 seconds, and here's Buford. Fakes from 3. Canadas down low, and Swenson slams it down with force, and a quick timeout by Creighton. So that's it for Creighton in terms of timeouts. They're down by 2. We'll be back.
Foul. There's not a lot of options.
And they foul quickly Tyrese Bryson, who shoots 81%.
You say that's a bad choice, but if you look at Cartmill, he shoots 94. Riley's at 90. Everybody on this team shoots pretty well. The only guy that you'd want to consider fouling is Leroy Watkins, but Kevin Stallings wisely sat him down.
This is where you really see the polish of this experienced coach. And talking about Kevin Stallings, and not a knock on Damon Alton. He's an excellent coach as well.
Now for defensive purposes, you see the adjustment.
He really has done a fantastic job of summing down the stretch.
And Bryson, even though numbers-wise he hasn't been very strong in the field, still 15 points. You like his rebounds, 5. He had 4 or 5 assists. Solid score game.
So the lead is 4 as Sears brings it across. Brandon down low, slips it up. His shot blocked by Watkins. Over to Sears for 3. He's got it. So it's a 1-point game. A 1-point deficit for the Blue Jays. They get it into Watkins, and that's the guy that you wanted to foul.
They blew the opportunity. They got the ball exactly where they wanted. Nice job by Watkins delivering.
Watkins is 61%, as you mentioned. But now they send Ryan Crowley, who shoots 77%. The former walk-on.
Only 70% in conference. Doesn't get a lot of looks. Solid player. It's not a bad choice.
8 seconds left. Crowley's first one is good. Regardless of whether he hits this one or misses it, as you see Riley on the bench. But Creighton now in a situation where if they get a 3, they can send this thing to OT.
When Kevin Stallings checks out the stats today, if he wins this game, let's not make any bones about why he's won it. They've made 17 more free throws than Creighton today. Big numbers.
Crowley with a chance to make it a three-point game. He misses it, so all they need is a two. But they've got 5 seconds. They get it to their all-conference player, Buford from three. And it's too short. Illinois State has won it. Kevin Stallings' team moves to 14-12, 6-9 in the conference. Their all-conference player, their leader and captain, Rodney Buford, had a chance to win it at the buzzer.
And notice
This
the
would've-
defense. Oh, great defense.
It would have put him over 2,000 points for his career at Creighton, but it comes up just shy as the Blue Jays lose a really tight one, a tough one here in Redbird Arena. Once again, our final score, 79-77, Illinois State. The Steel Timberland Series is next. For Tim McCormick and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Darren Horton saying so long from Normal, Illinois. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com or to the Go Network.